Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever around the world that you are viewing this moonshot. Last week, I spent some time talking about the fears that we face because of the perceptions that we form prior to addressing them. And I trust that you've been working on some things through this week. You see, the veracity of everything that we know and understand in our lives is the accumulation of inputs that we've either witnessed or have been imposed upon us throughout our lives, from newborn to toddler, through childhood and teenage years, and then young and formal adulthood. We've been exposed to and influenced by the thoughts, the words, the actions, the behaviours of those around us, our peers, our carers, our leaders, our teachers, our community, and the media. And then the perceived impressions or implications, feelings of these interactive exhibits in our life. Yet this vast melange of coded information can generally be ascribed by two primary tenets. The first is what is authentic, correct, confirmed, precise, and real. This is the objective truths in our lives. And the other is those things which are perceived, supposed, implied, thought, believed. And this is the subjective truths. And unfortunately, the latter is predominantly impressioned most of our lives because of this intense human drive that we have to belong to or be accepted by and not cast out from a tribe. And so we adopt the traits of those around us that we most want to be associated with or accepted by, influenced by, or protected by. Quid est veritas is a question posed by Pontius Pilate when asked to ascertain the innocence and cast execution upon one innocent Jesus. And so this question in English is, what is truth? Or more importantly, and with reference to us today and here, is what is your truth? This is my Bull Arab Pitbull Cross Puppy Sakura. And I'm told by many that in Japanese her name means cherry blossom. So I have to correct them and say, no, to me, she is a princess warrior named after an anime character from the same culture. So who's correct? Is she a flower or is she a fearless fighter? Is it possible that she could be both? What if 100 people have their own definitions of who she is and what her name should be? Who's correct? So the answer simply to each of these questions is yes, I'm right, and everybody else is as well. We're all entitled to form our own impressions and therefore create our own truths. The truths are what we make or deem things to be. I'm quite sure many of you would have seen or would recall a fiery closing courtroom scene in the movie titled A Few Good Men, where a young lawyer played by Tom Cruise is interrogating a seasoned Marine commander, Jessup, played by Jack Nicholson, and clearly agitated by the persistent questions from this young lawyer. Jessup, the commanding officer, blurts out a response that I'm sure has been echoed and amplified through most likely every nation since then, and that is, you can't handle the truth. You see, we all share a version of the truth of ourselves and about ourselves that we want others to see, or that we feel and expect. We feel that others expect us to have, and we hide the truth of who we really are. Unfortunately, the consequence of that is that there's no alignment and true congruency with the individual. And so the goals that they're working towards, they really achieve fulfillment because of this conflux between the mind and the soul that Einstein defines as this insanity syndrome. From my previous revelations on goals and attainment, belief and challenges and perceptions, and from your own experience, we now know and recognize that we need to be facing fears and challenges. Yet the truth by which we define these challenges also defines ourselves. We are defined by the truth that we allocate to everything that's in our life, challenge or not, comfort or not. These become our truths. When we can get to a position where we align the two, subjective and objective, when we can reprogram our conscious mind to recalibrate the subjective and the objective to become one in harmonious unity, then we can start to actively portray who is our congruent self. With congruency, we can work towards achieving and fulfilling our higher purpose. Many people tell me that they want to make change in their life. They want to enjoy greater health and speed and be leaner. They want to achieve more. They want to increase their income. They want to achieve a sharper focus and congruency and uniformity and harmony within their company culture. Yet their actions don't show it. They're misaligned. This is principally because they haven't recognized the key element to change is knowing the truth, where you are to be able to move forward from. And often that's because they can't handle the truth or refuse to accept that truth. So until you recognize who you are, where you are, and how you are, then you don't have the solid foundation upon which to build and then launch a plan of action. If you really want to make meaningful change, then you have to start where you are, not where you want to be or where you think that others expect you to be. And if you really want to make lasting and meaningful change and achieve the task that you desire, you'll do everything within your power, everything possible that you can think of to attain it, because you believe it's possible, and we've covered that. And now because you determine that it's destined to be your new truth. I watched a wonderful movie titled Woodlawn last week about the massive transformation of a community from a racially prejudiced and segregated community through the aspects of belief and faith and meaningful expectation to become a society that was uniform and recognized the misalignment of the truths that they thought were real. One of the greatest gifts that we have in life, and it's a God-given gift, is this gift of agency. See, we get to choose who we will be and how we will be and what we will be, and even at times where we will be. And that's just fantastic that we get to choose this thing. Miguel Ruiz wrote that life is a story, and Michelangelo observed that life is an artwork. You are the creator of your own story. You are the creator of your own artwork. So from today, step forward with a new boldness to develop a new truth to yourself and create the finest masterpiece that you can. Share with me what that masterpiece looks like so that I can support you, and so that your community and those around you, your peers and those who follow you, can do likewise. Next week, I'll share on self-talk, the conversations that you really need to be having with yourself. Until then, live, love, and serve.